richness to this whole experience as being a woman in the classroom. So if you have something to share, definitely put it in the chat box. So what I would like to go over with you today with my short time is 3 powerful strategies to support women in the classroom. I think we have gotten to a point where we're pretty confident that women, we can make a difference. We know that. Even though, again, sometimes the powers that be sometimes try to hold women down, women have really stand up and fought through those things to make sure that they have the equal access and rights to be in the classroom to help all children of all kinds of different backgrounds. So the 3 strategies I want to share with you today is relates to how we can support women in the classroom. Is one, we need to recognize it's okay not to be okay. I think a lot of times as women, we take on a lot. And because we're such natural nurturers, I will say that again, at times we forget that we're human and that we don't have the superpower to do everything. And sometimes our strength can get in our way and hold us back. So I always tell people it's okay not to be okay. And that's okay. And so when we think about the women in the classroom and they're working with the children and working with their coworkers, and many of them are wives, and many of them are doing a lot of different things, it becomes overwhelming. And so you have to say that. As a woman, I say in the classroom too, 75% of my teachers I work with are women. And so I have to be very honest with them in that. So I always say this to them is that every child has a different learning style and pace. Every child is unique and not only capable of learning, but capable of succeeding. So I tell teachers the first strategy I give them is trust the journey and the process, because sometimes we can get overwhelmed in the process because there's so much going on with us. So trust the process and trust your journey as a teacher. Understanding that even with COVID-19 going on in this virtual learning experience right now, it can be very overwhelming. So trust the process and understand your journey. So here's some steps that just the first strategy is self-care. For me, you taking care of yourself spiritually, emotionally, taking care of your thoughts and your mind, increasing your well-being and self-care behaviors, whether that physical or your body, is key. And so some of the strategies I give to gain self-control over that, because sometimes we do neglect ourselves, is one, I tell women for 30 days, definitely make the commitment every day to do something for yourself, whether it's small or big. It doesn't matter what it is, but every day make a commitment to do something for yourself. I definitely tell many women in the classroom to get a I am grateful journal, excuse me. And as you're writing in your journal, 5 minutes a day, think about what you're grateful for and why. And it's so important for us to reflect and gain perspective, because sometimes we think we're not doing enough as women in the classroom, but really we're doing more than enough. And when you write it down, you become more reflective to what is going on. And last but not least, which is very hard to do in trying to gain self-control over self-care, is choose to be present in the moment. To be present in the moment, to choose an opportunity to just stop, whether that's be with your family, something that you do with personal interests. Don't think about social media. I mean, really just be present. A lot of times we miss opportunities as women in the classroom because we're just moving and we're moving. And whether that's you're a teacher or an educator or a school leader or an administrator, we're always busy and we're never sometimes taking a moment and to just be present. So make a commitment to do something for yourself, get a journal and write it out and, talk about why you're grateful and definitely be in the moment. I guess my second strategy I would give is, 3 ways to change your mindset in the classroom. So secondly, how do we refocus, especially with COVID-19 going on right now? I think number one is we have to accept the things we cannot change. We have to accept that we can't change COVID-19. We have to adjust and move forward to create a new norm and do the best we can. And what that looks like is, for me, every day speak positive affirmations into your life first as a teacher, as an administrator, as a leader, and speak that also into your students. So starting your classroom with the inspirational quote or short video or poem, speaking that into existence The very thing you expect in your classroom, no matter the situation, your expectation is that good things will happen and will take place. So I know someone's on here from Mindset, they put that in the chat, and I just think that's amazing. I look forward to hearing about teachers' well-being, because that is key. And then every week, my other strategy, when you talk about refocusing your mind in the classroom as a woman, each week create a small goal and achieve it and log it. And that'll help refocus your energy on the things that you have accomplished. So many times we're doing so many things as women in the classroom that we forget that we are making the difference, big or small. So take the time to write those things down and really reflect. And I know that it will refocus your energy and help you feel like, you know what, I can do this in spite of maybe some of the challenges I may be feeling right now. So again, it's hard because living in a COVID-19 world right now has definitely turned us upside down, and we're not used to this wearing masks, virtual learning, but we've had to adjust and move forward, and women in the classroom have done that so well. My last strategy is take a moment at the end of the day. So many times we're ripping and running. The more reflective you are, the more reflective you are, the more effective you are. I think sometimes if we're able to stop, pause, take a deep breath, and really think about what happened. So this is an activity I do at home and I really recommend. I would ask that you, as a woman in the classroom, as a teacher, ask the following questions at the end of the day. What went well? What didn't go so well? What did I learn? And what still puzzles me? Because I think at the end of the day, we're moving, and again, we have a lot of stress and a lot of things on us, but a lot of times we just don't stop and say, wow, what went well today? What didn't go so well? What did I learn from my staff and my students today? And what puzzled me? What is something that challenged me that I need to go back and reflect on? And when we're able to do that, that really helps us in the classroom as women to be empowered to step back and refocus ourselves. So here's my quote as I'm ending. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving. And that was from Martin Luther King Jr., who is an amazing civil rights advocate and pastor from the United States. And I always talk like that as it relates to my students and working with our teachers. You have to, meet yourself where you're at. But whatever you do, just keep moving. I think sometimes it's easy for us as women in the classroom to be, hard on ourselves, just to be quite honest. And sometimes you just have to keep moving and don't worry about the things you cannot change, or cannot worry about the politics of education, or, the things that we're dealing with, the injustice of our classroom. And so the fact that we are going through the things that we're going through, we have to be mindful that we are making a difference as women in the classroom. Even though we may not see the results right away, we are doing amazing things. So love on yourself and don't be so tough on yourself. You just have to keep it moving. So here is my contact information. My agency that I work with is called Build, Reach, Teach. And I'm just big on teachers teaching boldly in the classroom. So teach bold, respond bold, live bold. And I just believe that when we are all together like we are right now, even though we're in different parts of the country, there's power in that. So our strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't do. And as women in the classroom, I know there's things that we can do. We have to be bold about it and show up. And there's people that became before us, our mothers from our community, things that has happened to us, people that we know that our role models have done it. They have broke down barriers. And so women that are on this call right now, together our strength will continue to help continue to build those bridges as women as we continue to move forward. So thank you so much. And I hope you got something out of the presentation. But one, if you haven't got anything, take care of yourself, because everything else will take care of itself.
Oh, if you've got anything, take care of yourself, because everything else will take care of itself. Thank you very much, Shanina. You are always amazing. Okay. If you have any question or any input, you can put it in the chat box and then Shamina will address it. So she's going to come back to take questions. Let's move on to Cass Jermaine.